Hey guys, Gundam Russ back once again. Well, welcome back to another video. Today, for this week's Topic Tuesday, I'm doing have you received a bad or good experience in a gaming store? So I'm going to tell you about a bad experience that I received a couple of years back in an EB Games store. Now, for starters, this isn't an attack at EB Games. I generally like the actual store. It just is just a purely for the Topic Tuesday and a story that I wanted to tell you guys. So I know working in retail as an assistant manager that customers from time to time can be very, very difficult to the point that sometimes you just want to strangle them to death. But you have to restrain yourself. And the majority of the customers that you do get in the stores are very lovely. They're not too difficult, and all they're really looking out for at the end of the day is your help. And you can have some great laughs with customers and you know, build some great friendships with them as well. So the story all comes about probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I had some extra cash left over, had spent all my money, you know, on the house that I had to at the time, and I thought, you know, why not, let's go out and treat myself to some games. So I drove out to a local EB Games store, and they had a mid-year sale on, so I was like, yes, this is great. Hopefully I could find some, you know, some bargains here and some games that I'm really interested in playing. So I spent a good, you know, 20-30 minutes in the store hunting around, and I managed to pick up a couple of Xbox 360 titles because I was, you know, big in collecting for the 360 at the time. And I found a few PS2 titles. So they had a few PS2 games still kicking around, and those games I still remember to this day with Sky 1 and 2. And because of the mid-year sales, the store was quite busy, so you can imagine there was a little bit of a lineup at the counter. They had a manager on at the time, from what I believe, and they had a young girl who was an assistant sales woman, from what I could see. All in all, I had about 10 games I was taking up to the counter, and it was around about, from memory, about $300. So I'd spent a fair bit of money, or was going to spend a fair bit of money in the store. So I'm waiting patiently, and straight away I get this really bad vibe from this young girl, and she's like, next! And I'm like, okay, don't think that's the best way to you know, call a customer up in my head, obviously. And so I went up and I said, oh, hi, how you going today? Been busy today? And all she said was just like, yeah. And I was like, God, okay. So already in my head I was thinking, oh, you know, maybe this girl's had a bad day, and maybe she's had a fight with her partner, or maybe the manager's given her a hard time. And, you know, these are the sort of things I think in my head, even though, you know, as a, you know, myself working in retail, you have to try and probably put your retail hat on and try and, you know, bury any sort of issues you've got underlying from home or from another customer. So I'm waiting for, and I can see the girls, you know, at EB Games, they have, I don't know if you guys aren't in Australia, they have big cupboards behind the actual cabinet, and they keep all their games filed in sleeves in there. You know, generally for like PS2, they'll have the manual and they'll have the game in there as well. So you just take the empty case up to the counter. So she's having a look in there, and all I can hear is, all these like, this is really like big sighs coming from around, like going, oh God, please just find these games. And then all of a sudden, she just goes, bang, slams the game down, the case that, you know, for the game she couldn't find, of which I at the time was Disgaea 2, and turns around to me and goes, oh, I can't effing find this. And this is what she says to me. I'm just like, okay. And, you know, I could feel my blood start to boil a bit, and I turned around and said, well, can you have a look in the other drawers you haven't looked in at the moment? And she's like, ugh. So I was like, oh my God. And I'm looking over at the manager who was next to her, and you could see that he was feeling quite awkward at the time, but he was serving another customer. And yeah, so she's looking through, and all of a sudden, as she's looking through, she turns around and says, oh, for F's sake, where is this effing game? And straight away, because she had all the games that she had found on the counter, I just got all the games and I just went, pushed them back, and I said, forget it. Because I was just so angry, and I never thought I would actually, that would actually happen to me in a gaming store, but I just pushed the games back and said, forget it, don't want the games, lost yourself a sale. And at that time, the manager that was standing next to her was like, "Oh mate, please don't go. I'm really really sorry for her attitude." And I was just like, "Forget it." I said to the girl, like, if this is the way you treat your customers, I don't know how you guys can be in business. I said it's disgusting. Like, I've never been treated like this before, and still to this day I haven't. But like I said, this is definitely isn't a diss at EB Games, because that EB Games where I got the games from, after a year and a half of avoiding that store, I did manage to go back to the store and I received some good service, which basically helped patch up that anger towards that store. But yeah, guys, I just couldn't believe that, when I had taken up such a large amount of games, and seeing those games at the counter was a fair big sale, that you just wouldn't treat that customer just that little bit nicer, or just turn around. Like, the funny thing is, like, if that girl had turned around to me and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I can't find the disc for this game," I would have turned around and said, "Look, don't worry about it," or I would have said, "What, does any other store have it? I might drive out there." I would have been happy to do that, but to actually receive that sort of customer service, it was just something shocking, but it definitely makes a great topic of discussion. So there we have it, guys. This is a little bit of a story of some bad service I received in a gaming store. So yeah, as I said earlier, let me know below, if you guys have received any bad customer service and how it made you feel. Or on the flip side, tell me a positive story that you've got from being in a gaming store, if you haven't received a bad one at all. It definitely is much easier to tell a story about a positive thing, and definitely I've got plenty of those that I might one day talk about. But I really wanted to get this story out there because I found it's always find it quite interesting to be able to, or fun to be able to tell people about this story. Sometimes it gives them a little bit of a good laugh. So yeah, hope you did enjoy. As always, leave me a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, fools. See you later.